Hi everyone, and welcome back to Fully Playable Games, and welcome to a brand new type of video on my channel. Well, no, not quite brand new, but a rehashing of an old video type that I started but never really carried on with. And that is going to be repair videos. So yeah, I have got my desk all set up now, ready to go for doing repair videos. And for those of you that have been watching some of the game hunting videos recently, you would have seen that I have been picking up 40 consoles left, right and centre in preparation to start putting out videos just like this. And today we are going to start with our very first repair. And it is going to be something that we picked up from the market a few weeks ago. And it is the Japanese Sega Saturn. So what was so special, this is an absolutely brilliant find on its own, but what made it even more special was the fact that it is actually part of a dev console. So on the side here, it's actually got a an asset tag from Psygnosis. So those of you that don't know, Psygnosis was the company that made games like Destruction Derby. They made a load of others, and I can't remember off the top of my head what they were. But yeah, I picked this up from John at the market. He'd actually let me know ahead of time that he had this, so he had it aside for me. I think we paid £15 for it. I'll put it down the bottom if it's wrong. But yeah, we paid £15 for it. And basically he said it just doesn't power on. So I'm 99% sure I know what's going on with this. Because obviously being a Japanese console, it runs on 100 volts, not the 240 volts that we're used to. So I will quite imagine that someone has plugged this into 240 at some point in its life and blown the power supply. But if that is the case, we are going to look to repair the power supply. I want to try and avoid replacing if I can. But yeah, if I can repair it, that would be even better. So let's jump over to the desk. We'll get it powered on, or see if we'll get it tested, see if we can power it on, and then if not, we'll crack it open and see if we can get it repaired. So we're all set up on the desk. I've got Saturn set up, all plugged into my step-down converter, and what we're going to do is we're going to try it with a copy of Dead or Alive. I've only got two games on, two Japanese games on my Saturn at the moment, so yeah, it was either that or a Japanese game that I haven't got a clue what says. So let's get it powered on, see if it comes on. Not seeing any life. No movement from the disc. So yeah, I think we can firmly say that there is nothing going on with that console. So let's get it opened and see what we can find inside. So to get into the console, there are 5 screws that you need to undo. Got 2 at the back here, 1 at the side, and then 2 at the front. So I'm just going to use the electric screwdriver to get them out. And yeah, you'd have just seen that fly off, so it needs to come out anyway. And then once those screws are undone, you should just be able to lift it off. So there's another screw there. I know that there were 2 left in. And yeah, this one up the back here just needs to be undone a bit more. There we go. So that is all of the screws out. So let's lift the top cover off. There's no no ribbon cables or anything like that. And I'll put that off to the side. So this is the bones of the Sega Saturn. So this is the power supply. So this is the bit we want to be focusing on. And what I want to do is I want to start looking up the back here, because that is where the voltage comes in. So let me zoom you in a bit. And we'll see what we can see. So straight off the bat, don't know if you can notice it yet, but that fuse is not looking the right colour. That is meant to be see-through. So that is definitely going to need to be swapped out. Can't see anything else at the moment. But what we're going to do is we are going to pull it out. So all the capacitors look in good condition as well. Yeah, can't really see anything there. So what we'll do is, let me bring you back out again. And what we'll do is we'll start off by getting the power supply removed. I'm quite confident that there's no residual power in the power supply, because obviously with that fuse blown, nothing's going to be coming through anyway. So in this, we've got a screw at the front here. And then there are a couple of screws. I'm just going to switch to the other camera for this. So we've got a couple of screws just on the back here. They need to be undone as well. And then the power supply should come out, if I remember rightly. I'm not missing anything, am I? So there's a little plastic clip just down there. And then, yeah, it's just... There we go. There we go. And that is out. So, got the power cable there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this off to the side. And I'm going to bring in my mat. My other mat, so that we can have a closer look at the board. So, here we are. We are back on the board. As I say, this is the area that I am most concerned with. And actually, I don't know whether you can see it on camera. I'm going to move that just a bit. Hopefully, you'll be able to see. That capacitor has completely blown apart. So, that is going to be what we need to change. So, it's going to be that and that capacitor. But the big problem we've got is the side of the capacitor that has blown out is actually the side with all the information on. I don't know what to do. Right, let's get it out of the board, and then we'll have a closer look at it. So what to do is give me 2 minutes. I'm going to get my desoldering station set up, and then we'll get that component removed. Okay, so as I say, it is this capacitor here that we need to remove. So we've got the little chip there. So if I flip it over, so we've got the 4 points of the chip just there, and then the 2 legs of the capacitor just next to it. So what I'm going to do is just give it a bit of flux, and we'll add some solder before we use the desoldering gun to remove it. So where are we looking? We were there and there. Right, so let's get a bit more solder added on. The solder iron should be up to temperature. Yeah, there we go. So I'll have to be careful when we finish to make sure that I've not bridged those, because they're really close together. Right, so that's that. And then if we get my desoldering iron, and same on the bottom one, and that should be good to go. Did forget to get my tweezers out. So if we now rotate that back round, it's out one side. It's still a bit. It will go. Right, let me get my. There we go. So, as you can see, absolutely nothing on it. It's been completely destroyed this side. So, what I am going to now do, I'll turn that off for the minute, and I'll even turn that one off. We don't need either of them for the minute. So, just having a look. Let me see if I can get the board out. So, there's a model number up here. So I can see if I can find that. I think that's another model number just down the bottom there. So what I'll do is I'm going to jump on the PC. I'm going to do a bit of research, see if I can find anything. And yeah, I'll be back in just a minute. So while I was hunting around, I have managed to come across this page. And yeah, it took a lot longer than I thought it would to get the information, because whenever I was looking for a schematic online, the only schematics that I could find were for power supplies. Now, I didn't want to go by that just in case there was any differences between the PAL and the Japanese version. So I looked for this number on the back here, this XQ981, and brought up this page. And when I actually looked, obviously that is the exact power supply that we've got. But what I could do is that once I actually clicked into the photo, then realised that I could go right up close onto the capacitor. So we're looking at a 221, is it microfarad? Or it might be picofarad. Yes, that's going to be picofarad. So what we'll do is we'll switch back onto the desk, and then we can have a look at my ceramic capacitor kit, see if I've got the right size in there, and yeah, we can get that swapped out. Okay, so here is my ceramic capacitor kit. So I've got a whole range of them, but the one that we're looking for is 221, so that is 220 picofarad. So we've got one of them, so let's grab that out. So it is this one. Don't know if you can see it. So just there, 221. So let's get that moved off to the side. Get the board put back in. So we're going to need to bend it a bit so that we can get it into the holes. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to cheat a bit. And just bend it like that so that I know where the bend's got to go. And turn it round. And then we will put it in and get it soldered up. So I'm just going to bend the legs on the other side. And there we go. So let's get the soldering iron turned back on. Okay, so the soldering iron is now all heated up. So what I've got to be careful of, as I say, so if I zoom you in a bit. So we've got this bit here, which is one of the legs for the chip, and then we've also got this bit here for the capacitor. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to just get some solder on the bottom leg there. Put some solder back on the leg of the chip. And on there. And I'm just going to switch to the other camera. I'm going to zoom in a bit just to see whether they were meant to be connected or not. Because I think that they are part of the same trace. I'll tell you what, let's take a step back, because I don't want to solder this up and then realise that I have joined two traces and then end up having to do a whole load of more work fixing my mistake. So let me just clear the solder back off that. Not that great with solder wick, I have to add. So I cannot for the life of me see that is looking like, yeah, those two traces are joined. So we are quite safe there. So let me just get some more solder on that side. That one's all good. So that is that. So let me get, so where have I put my Q-tips? I have lost my Q-tips. No, they're not. They're right there in front of me. So let's get this flux cleaned up. I'm going to turn that off now, because shouldn't need that anymore. And I haven't got any of my tubs with me. Right, give me 2 seconds. I am just going to go and get my jug so that I can give this ball a proper clean. There we go. Didn't need to go far. Actually found one. Right, so get the lid put on that. Yeah, just want to make sure that we get all of the flux off. Yep, that is looking good. So, next off, we will trim the legs off of the capacitor. And then, the only thing we'll have left to do after that, so there's one. I'm going to need to pick up a new pair of these. So there's two. Right, so that's both of them trimmed down. So the only other thing that we now need to do is to sort out that fuse. So let's get it popped out. Right, so just having a look. So hopefully you can. There we go. So it's a 1.6 amp fuse and it's 250 volts. So let's have a quick look, see what I've got in my pack of fuses. Zoom out this one. So I've got 1.5 and then I've got 2. So as long as I go 1.5 will be fine. So that is going to be that one. So it's still a 250 volts. It's just 0.1 of an amp lower. So that won't cause us any problems at all. In fact, it will make the board even safer. And just make sure that that is all good. So yeah, right. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to go and grab the Saturn back. We'll get this mounted back in, get it tested, and then yeah, hopefully we are good to go. So here we are. We've got the Saturn back on the desk now, and all we've got left to do is to basically just mount the power supply. Get that in. And I'm going to put that in before we start screwing it in. And then, as I say, we've got 3 screws to put in. And what you'll notice as well is one of the things that I do, rightly or wrongly, is that I'll use the electric screwdriver to undo things. But when I'm doing it back up, I use the manual screwdriver. That way I just make sure that I'm not going to thread anything, and everything goes back together in the same sort of way that it come apart. Right, so what I'm going to do is, before we put the cover back on, where have I put all my leads? They're all over here. So let's get the screen turned on. And we'll get the leads plugged in. There we go. And then it's just the power to plug in. Right, so that is that. And yeah, so let's give it a go. Well, that's a good sign. And we've got a power light and a read light. And we've got the power up on screen. So, right, let me get this back together. And then we will get it all, I'll get it all plumbed into the capture card so that you can see it for yourselves. Okay, so before we give it our final test, I just want to get this top bit all cleaned. So I'm just going to use a surface wipe because it should all just, yeah, easily as that, just wipe off. So there's a couple of other marks on it as well. See if I can get those off. But yeah, so that is all of that. And just give it a quick wipe over. So yeah, I've put the Dead or Alive disc back in now. And then what we'll do is we'll switch over to the game capture. And yeah, see how we get on. No, it would help if I actually turned the power on. That had me panicked a bit. So, we've got our date and time. I'm just going to... Just going to go straight through that for now. Absolutely brilliant. So straight into the disc. And I think we can definitely say that we have managed to bring this Saturn back to life, which is absolutely amazing. The fact that it's got such a history behind it as well. Absolutely over the moon to have this back up and running. I've got to remember the controls now. Pages in the place this game. There we go. Well, I think after that we can definitely say that it is working. So that is going to wrap up our repair of the Japanese Sega Saturn. And with a console that's got so much history behind it, I am so glad that we were able to get this back up and running. Yeah, so going forward with regards to repair videos, I have got absolutely loads of videos planned. I think with what I've got in the backlog at the moment, probably got enough consoles to see us through right the way through to next year. So what my plans are is that I'm going to be putting a Wednesday video out every week, and that is going to be focusing on the repair videos. So yeah, I'm just going to be getting any consoles that I can find that are faulty. I'm going to be getting hold of them so that we can do some more videos on. And yeah, so that is pretty much going to wrap up today's video. I'm going to go and spend the rest of the night to play Dead or Alive. But before you head off, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button, as it really, really helps me get these videos out in front of other people. And hopefully someone else will find this as informative, and maybe be able to help them get their Sega Saturn back up and running. And if you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when I upload new videos. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching today. Really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.